Could Folarin Balogun be on his way out of Arsenal? Yes, people, iFootball, and welcome back to another Arsenal transfer news video. As always, if you love being kept up to date with daily Arsenal transfer news, this is the place to be. Make sure you subscribe down below. I'm road to 3,000 subscribers, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments regarding Folarin Balogun. Let's get straight into the tweet by Fabrizio Romano dropping today saying, Folarin Balogun scored his first goal for the US men's national team overnight. Congratulations to him for that. On his future, he says, I definitely won't go on loan again. Then, I'm not sure what's going to happen, Balogun added. Meeting will take place between his agents and Arsenal to decide his future soon. This is interesting, right? Because we all know Balogun had his loan spell last year out in France for Rennes and did absolutely fantastic. So congratulations to him for that. Basically finished almost top scorer in the French league. He's got a taste for the first team football. He's got a taste for scoring goals. That's not a player that wants to sit on the bench again, man. That's clear and obvious. He wants to be assured game time if he stays at Arsenal. This guy is a top talent. I have no doubt about it whatsoever. I called this one earlier as well. I remember telling my friends about it when I saw him for the under-21s in the Academy of France. I was saying, this is a proper striker. He's got the build of a striker. He's tall. He's fast. He's strong. He's a clinical finisher. Obviously, he's going to need the right coaching. He's still young, but he can be molded into a real top striker. He's got the real raw athleticism, and he's got the makings of a top striker there. The thing is, right, Arsenal are in a position right now where we almost won the league last season. We're going to try and fight for the Premier League and Champions League. We can't rely on a young 21-year-old Folarin Balogun to really be our starting striker going forward. He's had the taste of playing as a starting striker for Rennes last season. Can he afford to really sit on the bench and be a rotation player? I'm not too sure. So you look at it and you say, a lot of us fans want Folarin Balogun to stay, and myself included. I'd actually love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Guys, let me know in the comment section down below. Would you rather Arsenal keep hold of Nketiah or Balogun? I know it's a hypothetical world. It's not necessarily saying Arsenal are going to sell Nketiah. But say there was a hypothetical situation where either Nketiah or Balogun's our backup striker. Who would you rather have? Because for me, I'd rather have Balogun. And that's no disrespect to Eddie Nketiah, by the way. I think he did absolutely fantastic when he came in for Gabriel Jesus' injury towards the back end of, towards the middle of last season when obviously Jesus got injured in the World Cup and we had Nketiah for like January and February. But let's be completely honest with it, guys, yeah? Nketiah coming in, he was a stopgap. I think Nketiah's ceiling, he's hit it. I know it's harsh. Genuinely, I know it's a harsh thing to say. But I honestly think Nketiah's hit his ceiling. He's not the tallest. He's like 5'9". He's never really going to be a technically brilliant player in terms of link-up play. He's had long enough in the team to really prove that. He's a good finisher on his day. I'm not going to take that away from him. But does he really bring enough outside of that to his game? Yes, he's improved his link-up play a little bit. It's nowhere near the level of Jesus, for example. I don't think Nketiah can progress much more further, to be completely honest with it. So I would not be against Arsenal selling Nketiah, preferably overseas. But even if it is to another Premier League club like Palace or West Ham, for example, I would not be against that one bit. Balogun, on the other hand, he's a player that's going to get better and better and better. You already saw him bag 21 goals last season or something like that for Rennes in the French league. He can get more. I would not be against loaning him out one more season. Of course, he's come out in the Fabrizio Romano tweet. He said, I definitely won't go on loan again. So if the player wants to leave, it's one of those things where he's going to have to talk with Arsenal. He's going to talk with Arteta. He's going to have to get some assurances over his game time. Arteta probably will tell him, look, I'm going to be honest with you, Folarin. I don't think you're going to get much game time, given we've got Jesus. We're probably going to look to bring in another attacker like Kai Havertz, for example. We've already got Eddie Nketiah sitting here as well on the bench. You won't get much game time. And I think that will be a shame. But if that's the case, that means Balogun will probably sit there and go, okay, I want to leave then. And fair play to him for that, you know, because I always rate a player that prioritizes their game time. Like, he's sat there and gone, I'm at a massive club in Arsenal, but I want to play games. And if that means I take a step down in my career and go to a less successful football club to get more game time, so be it. And I have a lot of respect for a player like that. Look, if Balogun wants to go, then sell him. Sell him. Genuinely, I know a lot of Arsenal fans want to keep him. And I want to keep him as well. Bear in mind, I was one of the earliest people to call how good Folarin Balogun could be. I was a massive fan of him in his early days in the Arsenal Academy. But I've always got the opinion that no player is bigger than a football club, let alone Folarin Balogun. If a player wants to go, let him go. That's why I wanted Granit Xhaka to stay, but if Xhaka wanted to go, let him go. If Saka wants to go, let him go. If Saliba wanted to go, let him go. These are players I love. I adore Bukayo Saka from the bottom of my heart. Same with William Saliba. But if these players genuinely want to go, let them go. Thankfully, them two don't want to. They're basically on the verge of signing contract extensions. Saka has, and William Saliba's about to do so. Get the number 2 shirt, by the way. So big up William Saliba for that. No one buy any new William Saliba shirts in number 12. Wait, because he's getting the number 2 shirt for 100% fact. I know that. So yeah, if Balogun wants to go, let him go. But this is where you have to be smart if you're Arsenal Football Club, alright? Because don't just let him go and cut all ties and say, okay, Balogun, off you go. No. That's how a badly run football club does things. A well-run football club should let Balogun go, but include, preferably both, but at least either a sell-on clause or a buyback clause. Basically meaning in the future, if Balogun goes on to do amazing things like he's predicted, we've got the opportunity to bring him back, on like a buyback clause, like Man City have got for Romeo Lavia from Southampton, for example. Or at least if that club then goes to sell on Balogun to a better football club or a bigger club, we can get a sell-on bonus of like 25% or something like that, or even first right of refusal on the purchase. That's how big clubs move. That's what I want to see Arsenal do. Because I feel like Arsenal too many times with young players, right? For example, Serge Gnabry. Everyone remembers Serge Gnabry, right? I thought he had a really good like debut / one of his first breakout games against Swansea City. But we got rid of him. We had Walcott in that position, and Arsene Wenger looked at him and went, you know what, Gnabry, I think he's a top talent, but he's not going to displace Theo Walcott, so we're going to let him walk. For me, that was a terrible decision. I remember saying it at the time. Even young me noticed, look, Gnabry's a quality player. What happens is we just got rid of him. I think he went to West Brom, and then obviously he went to Germany. Bayern Munich picked him up. He hasn't been as good recently, but over the past few seasons, he's been absolutely fantastic. One of the best wingers in world football. We got nothing for that. As soon as we sold him, we lost everything. We lost all stake in that deal. So when you let go of your young players, you got to insert some kind of sell-on clause or buyback clause. Just give you some sort of insurance and to give you some money going forward, so it's still your asset to some extent. So Arsenal, Edu, Vinay, Richard Garlick, whoever's in charge of selling Balogun, should we want to sell and should the player want to leave? I'm not against it. If the player wants to go, the player wants to go. I'm never a fan of keeping players against their will. I think it's bad for the football club, and it's never keep a player against their ransom, bro. You got to move like a big club. A big club, a big person sits there and goes, look, I have a lot of respect for you. I think you're massive. I think you're a brilliant player for us, but the club's in our best interest. If you want to go, walk. That's how Pep Guardiola moves. João Cancelo was Pep Guardiola's best player a couple seasons ago. Last season, he had a bit of a bust up with the manager. Pep Guardiola told him, look, on your bike, mate. Off you go to Bayern Munich. Shipped him out the next day. Genuinely. That's how a big club moves, man. Someone with stature. Someone with a bit of like, you know, personality about them. A bit of aura about them. So I think Arsenal should do that, man. If Balogun wants to go, fair play. He wants the game time. He wants to start scoring goals. The striking position is a lot about confidence, a lot about game time. So let him walk. But insert some kind of sell-on clause and buyback clause for an absolute sure. If Arsenal don't do that, I'll be extremely disappointed in Arteta, Kroenke, Edu in particular, whoever deals with it, whoever's in charge of it, just insert a sell-on clause and a buyback clause preferably, if not one or the other, for an absolute fact. In terms of other Arsenal transfer news, it's been really quiet, to be honest with you guys. Obviously, you know, Havertz and Declan Rice are two deals Arsenal are pursuing. They're concrete rumours between the both of them, but nothing's really pursued in the last few days. Of course, I'll be dropping videos as soon as I hear any sort of concrete stories regarding Kai Havertz and Declan Rice. We're expecting second bids for both those players imminently. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section regarding any sort of transfer news regarding Arsenal. What have you heard? What do you want to see? Who do you want to see Arsenal bring in? Do you want to see Arsenal sell Balogun, for example? I know a lot of Arsenal fans sitting there going, no, we need to keep him. We need to keep him over Eddie Nketiah. And I hear that, but if the player wants to go, the player wants to go. He might not even be happy to sit on the bench. He might not even be happy to be a second string striker that starts in the FA Cup games, Carabao Cup games. Do you get what I mean? So Arsenal got to look at it, assess their options, go, look, if the player wants to go, you got to let him go. In terms of other Arsenal transfer news, Kieran Tierney is potentially set to stay at the football club, which is interesting. Look, I don't mind Kieran Tierney. I'm not a massive fan of him as much as other people are. I don't mind him. I think going forward, he shouldn't be the starting left back for the football club. I don't think he's got enough of a ball playing ability to do so. He's all right defensively, don't get me wrong. But if you want to progress as a football club, you need to have a real assurance that every player needs to be comfortable in the football. And I don't think Kieran Tierney is that comfortable with the ball at his feet in terms of possession. I'll be brutally honest about it. I think Zinchenko exposed him in that respect. I don't think Zinchenko is the answer either, by the way. I think he's got a lot of lapses in concentration, especially defensively. But he's set to stay regardless. Look, I would rather not sell him to Newcastle United, but if you are going to sell the player, get a good amount of money for him. And on the flip side, apparently Thomas Partey leaving Arsenal has escalated in the recent hours and days, with Saudi Arabian clubs being very, very assured on bidding for the player. And apparently he is set to leave the football club. It's going to be a sad one if he does go. But if Thomas Partey does go, I want to see an adequate replacement come through the door. And for me, that is Moises Caicedo. I know Arsenal apparently called interest in him, but I'm hearing conflicting rumours of potentially other people saying that Arsenal know they're still in for Thomas Partey maybe. Arsenal's still in for Moises Caicedo maybe. So who knows? But look, if we are to sell Thomas Partey, I don't want us to do so. The only way I'd be happy with it is if we do bring in a top caliber central defensive midfielder to replace him. Not a young prospect in Romeo Lavia. I'm talking a top caliber world class one right now in someone like Moises Caicedo. He's staring us right in the face. But as always, I appreciate you all tuning in. And if you made it this far in the video and you're new around here, make sure you subscribe for daily Arsenal transfer news. You do not want to miss it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments regarding Folarin Balogun. Do you want him to stay or do you not mind him going? And drop a like down below so this video gets out to more people in the algorithm. I've been Mindful, but I appreciate you all for tuning in and I hope to see you all in my next one. Take care.